Okay, welcome to the Old Classic Car channel. Now today we're going to do something a little bit different. Rather than messing with the old cars, we're going to have a bit of a clean-up on these old tins. Now these aren't actually mine, these belong to Junior, and they were part of his 13th birthday gift list. Not that he knew about it at the time, but he seems quite happy with it. So the idea is to give these two a quick clean and just see how nice we can make them look. Now he graciously let me put this video on my channel. Now he's got his own little channel running now, which is gradually building up, called Car Traction. So if you're interested in old and newer cars, please go and have a look at that. But let's have a quick look at these tins and just see what we're working with. So let's have a quick look at what we've got to work with. Now this one is a very nice Wakefield Castrol XL motor oil can with most of the remaining transfer still on it. What I hadn't noticed until today is this original plug on here, which mentions inserting the Wakefield quick flow tap, which I'm not quite sure what that is, but that's a nice little thing to try and preserve. Obviously we've got some writing on here, never sell from the drum, blah blah blah. That's quite nice. And if we have a look on the underside, we can see that it's dated. The manufacturer is Francis and Sons of London, and it's dated September 1946. So that's a nice little bit of detail. I figured it must be 30s or 40s. So it's just post-war, so that's quite nice. So I think this will come up looking quite well. There's some green paint on it. This side has suffered a bit more, but there is still a fair bit of green on there. We've got some stencil lettering on here. Returnable drum. Returnable drum not charged. And we've still got a cap, which is nice. I think that'll spruce up really quite nicely. The sun's come out now, so I'll just have to stand around here. So, and this one is a 2030 Essolube motor oil can, and that's got potential as well. I think there's a fair bit of green still there, so I think that'll clean up quite nicely. Again, it's still got the original lid on it. It's not dated, but it's actually quite nice. There's one or two dings in it, which I don't think we'll worry about for now. I think the plan is... Ooh, what's that? Ooh.
I just found it on the floor. I'll go and put it in the bush. Okay,
a wriggly little fella. So yeah, the plan today is just to clean up a bit of the surface rust that's on here. Obviously not get too carried away. This will come up, just get rid of some of this, and then oily rag it, and then we'll have to find somewhere to put them. Now, someone did point out in a recent video the suboptimal condition of my wire brush collection, but they're not all terrible. Obviously that one is, but these two are still reasonably shipshape. So
sometimes surely you wouldn't want a really stiff one, because then it's less abrasive.
Yeah, this one would actually give a slightly easier time on some surfaces, so it's not...
This is very stiff.
It is, yeah. So they still have their uses even when they're getting a little bit threadbare. So just to allay the concerns of a couple of people from the last video, not all my wire brushes are on their last legs. So there we go. So I think what we'll do is we'll lay some papers down on here just so we don't destroy the picnic table completely, and we'll give them a quick clean up. Someone asked about this old bicycle. Yes, it is a Rudge, just to answer your question. You can just about make out the maker's badge on there. If there's any interest in these old bikes, I'll do a video about it. But anyway, I need to go and find some rags now. Okay, we've got a rag. We've got a few tins of spray oil. I should be sponsored by this lot, I think. So let's see what we can do to make these look the best they possibly can before they go in his little collection of old tins, cans and so on. Anything interesting?
A nice Austin. Austin 12.
It's got a handsome machine, isn't it? Anyway, let's not get distracted by that.
Let's.
There's dedication to the cause. Do you actually like doing this sort of thing?
Yeah, it's satisfying. You can see some green paint.
Is there some coming up? Is there?
Starting.
Oh yeah, there's a bit in there, isn't there?
Yeah, you're right. There'd be some underneath there.
What better way to spend a Sunday morning? What else would you be doing?
I don't know.
Sleeping?
I'm not one to sleep. I always wake up really early.
This is your first day of teenage life. First full day anyway.
Yes, full day.
Oh, well, I think we'll leave him to that and come back to it once he's done it all.
Way to start the teenage period. Teenage life.
Oh, beats kicking a football around.
I was never a fan of football, really.
That's the spirit. Right, they've had a quick rub down, so we're not going too berserk. So now they're ready for their first bit of oil. Just to preserve them, really, make them look a little bit nicer. Yeah, just lay it on a bit, just bung a load on, because if you rub too much off, there'll be nothing left. The problem with aerosols is like this.
I try to be quite economical.
Yeah. The problem with aerosols like this is, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but a lot of the contents, well, a lot of the contents in there is the propellant to spray it out of the can. So you're not actually left with a huge amount of oil. So you're better off buying the 5 litre containers of the oil and just putting them in a pump action spray, and they'll last years. But we've got loads of these kicking around sort of half used, so we'll just use them up. That's it. Obviously, where the transfer is, just go lightly on that.
I'm just doing the bit that I've...
Yeah, I mean, we haven't rubbed this at all because
no,
we're not going to risk getting carried away cleaning that up. Yeah, just get some on there. So get some. That'll just help preserve it a bit.
I think your one's
Just got a bit more in it.
Than mine.
Preserve that little stopper. Yeah, that's the problem sometimes. Yeah. Put a bit on there. That's it. I mean, if you just rub over that carefully now, if I spray some of this on here, obviously what you have to watch is with some cans, if you, particularly the shell cans which are yellow with the red printed,
it lifts the...
if you put WD-40 on it or something like that, it'll actually lift the writing off, which is very bad. So this seems to be alright, so let's just spray some of that on and then just give it a very gentle...
Yeah, I'll be gentle. It's my cancer.
Yeah,
I'll make sure.
That's it, just sort of blot it rather than rubbing it around, that's it. Yeah, that's it. And then it doesn't risk losing anything important. See? And the oil just lifts the green up, it just brings what colour there is left in there on the tin. It'll just bring it up, like this little plug here, which I think is lovely. So that's it, just give that a gentle do as well. You can probably read it a little bit clearer now. There we go. That's really nice, that is. I'm amazed that hasn't disappeared actually, because the tin's been used.
Yes.
So I'm surprised that hasn't disappeared, unless someone had a pump that went in here rather than here. Right, keep up the excellent work. Mum will be delighted that you're wearing your new jumper for this particular job. Still have to maintain standards. Right, well, I think that one's looking the part now.
Yeah.
That looks lovely, that does now, doesn't it? Yeah. So, the wind's getting up. Time for the Essolube can. Other brands of spray oil are available, obviously.
Tree.
If any oil manufacturers wish to sponsor the channel and our great usage of these particular products, by all means get in touch. Not very likely, I imagine. So let's just put a bit more. Again, I'll just have to be careful with this lettering here. Obviously it's been put on with a stencil, but I don't want to risk losing any of it.
It's been sprayed.
Yeah, yeah. Someone's had they just put a stencil over it and sprayed over it. Oh no, is it raining?
quite.
I'm not so sure. I think it's starting to rain or snow. Not quite sure. Best get a wriggle on with that oil. So there we go, 2 oily ragged old oil cans. One Wakefield Castrol, 1946 date, and Essolube motor oil. Not quite sure what date that is, but it must be similar. Both with their original caps on still. But just a few minutes spent rubbing it down, spraying a bit of oil around. You could use old diesel or any oil really, but we just happened to have a few cans of that kicking around, so they do the job for now. But I think they look pretty magnificent now. So, is that it for now?
Yeah.
Yeah, you happy with those?
Yep, great.
Jolly good. Right, let's get those whistled away inside his little workshop. I think this old Wolseley Sheep Shearing Machine Company limited stationary engine. Could do with a bit of oil as well. Fortunately, it's got a huge crack in the water jacket, so it's never going to be more than yard art. It's still a nice looking thing, but you know, obviously far from perfect now. So into the den we go. So
Where could I put them?
where are you going to sneak these into then? You're going to maybe, if we move this little scooter and those little cans, maybe could stack them. Would they go on top of each other, do you think?
Maybe one definitely would, but I'm not sure about this.
On top of this old Shell Talona Oils can. I forget where that came from, but we've had it a while now. Yeah, we can move that out for now.
Lovely scooter though, isn't it?
It is nice. It's an old rally, isn't it? I'm sure many people viewing this will remember those little scooters. So let's see what we can do in here. I don't think we need to record this exciting footage, but we'll come back when we've made a little bit more progress with shifting things around a bit. Well, there they are, in situ. Shell Talona oil, the Castrol XL motor oils, and the Essolube motor oil 2030 grade. So those are nicely sneaked in there, out of harm's way, so just organising the rest of his old tools. If you go through some of the older videos on this channel, you'll see that he has a good talk about some of his old tin collection, and there's been a few additions since that video was made, including this very nice 2-gallon Pratts petrol can, and an SO1 here that someone has stenciled Racing Fuel, which is particularly nice, which I only noticed after he'd bought it, otherwise I would have bought it. That's an old French, I think that's paraffin.
This is one of
I think that's a paraffin, oh no, a blue coal oil pourer.
Car boots.
Car boot sale job.
A lot of the stuff here is bargains from car boot that you find.
Yeah, we go around antique centres and things, don't
Yeah,
we?
antiques.
Lodge plugs, that's nice.
Yes, that was at an antique centre.
So this Triumph, if anyone knows their Triumph Dolomites, they'll recognise that that is off a Dolomite Sprint. And back in the day, my uncle converted a Saab 99 to Dolomite Sprint power, and he bought a few engines off a friend of his, and this was one of the spare cam covers that came with it. And whereas the car is long gone, this is probably, there's only a couple of these cam covers remain of that particular project. The car will have been scrapped years ago. But yeah, that's why we've got these Dolly Sprint cam covers, one in here, and I've got one in my garage as well. So that's the story behind that. But yeah, it's looking good in here, little fella. So let's go in and have some lunch, I think.
Yes.